Welcome back to the Making a Multi-Million-Dollar Med Spa podcast, where we have real conversations about what it takes to run a successful business. Thank you for joining us as we share our day-to-day successes and, even more importantly, failures and mistakes. Listen in as we host some of our peers, colleagues, and other experts in the field. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Welcome back, listeners. We're excited to bring you even more aesthetics content on a weekly basis. The podcast episode today is a previous episode of our AesthetiCare 411 e-course. In these videos, Matt is joined by practice manager Rick Dunn and marketing director Karen Cobb to review and discuss the month's outcomes. From promotional sales to new hires, they will discuss actual instances that have occurred within our clinic. We hope you get a lot from this episode and are able to adopt some of these items into your own practice. Today's episode is from May of 2022. Enjoy!
Welcome to the AesthetiCare 411 for May of 2022. So, as you know, we kind of recap everything that went on at AesthetiCare at both our locations. We try to share good and bad and things we tried. May didn't have a lot going on. So we do have months, we've really moved away from doing a lot of sales. Okay, we don't put things on sale much, and when we do, a lot of it is more of a value added. Right. Get a full face BBL, get your neck for free, things like that. And so we don't have a huge amount of promotional stuff to talk about with, but the months were great. In Leawood in 2021, we did $757,000 of revenue. And this year, in May of 22, we did $877,000. So there's a 16% increase, which, again, for a business that's almost 21 years old, I mean, that type of increase is impressive. Mm-hmm. Now, in Liberty, a very new business, they grew by over 50%. They went from $215,000 to $330,000. So, when you're a new business in year 1, 2, and 3, your percentage growth is going to be much higher if you're doing well. After 20 years, I mean, for us to grow by 50%, we would have had to do another $400,000. Right. It just doesn't happen that way. So, but as you know, our stated goal here is to grow by 10% in Leawood. And in Liberty, we really want to shoot for that 20 to 30% growth every month over the same month of the previous year. So we did a couple kind of fun things. We created a eye bundle. Yeah. Right. And so kind of focusing, and if you're carrying Upneek, Upneek is this drop for ptosis that just opens the eye. It's crazy stuff. And so we combined that with Upneek and a Skin Better eye serum.
Yep, an eye cream and Latisse.
That's right. And it was really kind of cool because this actually is a $512 value that we did for $399. And it was fun. I mean, we didn't sell a ton of them. I think we only sold 7 between the two, right?
Yeah.
But it was just nice to bring awareness to the eyes and stuff.
And the 3 different products. Because Upneek took off big time, and then it kind of lulled a little bit. So it just gave us some time. And we only did a flash sale for a Monday through Friday before Mother's Day. So it wasn't the whole month either. But we packaged them together cute, and kind of had a little product display thing that Rick does so nice.
And I think we've seen sometimes with these flash sales, when it gets to that price, it doesn't work quite as well. Do you think when this is a $500
I love
item.
the idea of bundles to get people maybe hooked on something they wouldn't normally try. So maybe we just need to try something else at a lower price point.
But it gave it exposure. Yeah, people asked a lot of questions, and we sold. I only accounted for the ones that we sold as the bundle. But we sold a lot more individually of all 3 products.
And if you're carrying Upneek out there, my initial impression when they came in and they did the presentation, our staff meeting, they put drops in one eye from a lot of people. It was like, oh my God, this is going to be crazy because it works so well and it's so dramatic. But at the end of the day, Rick and Tracy and Tracy is our assistant manager, were talking, it really it takes somebody doing it, right? And I think what happens is our providers get so busy, and what the original goal was when they go into the treatment room, before they start a BBL or a halo or dermal filler, do one eye, no charge, and so they can see it. But what we're finding is they're busy. So what Rick and Tracy had decided to do is choose 2 of our front desk people, Lydia and Liz. And they are going to be the Upneek people up front. And so when people come in, they're filling out their paperwork, they have a little time, they're going to walk up and say, hey, listen, we've got this great thing for you to try. If you want, here's what it is. I'm going to put one drop in one eye. Go back for your treatment. When you come back, I'm going to show you a picture.
You should maybe include an Upneek demo at every girls' night out.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah, just do it. Because I think it's one thing, once you demo it, it's going to be easy. And with Upneek, the box sells for $200 for 45. We're selling individuals at $5.99. And I do think it's a show and tell. This is kind of a weird story. So when I opened AesthetiCare in 2001, I went to this really weird aesthetic show that had all this hocus pocus stuff. But one of the things there, it was called the Tingler. And this was before it was out. So it looks like a bunch of coat hanger fingers come down and you put on the head and you do it up and down.
That thing.
Now, everybody knows about it. It's been over and got mass marketed. But this one, it was brand new.
Oh.
And so there was a booth set up and I tried it and I thought, oh my gosh, that's crazy. So I ordered 100 of them. I thought, okay, this is going to be fun so that when people in the waiting room, I'll have the front desk person go out and try it. You guys, we sold them so fast. I started ordering 1,000 at a time. And for about a year or two, we sold them like crazy. Until then, they were everywhere, right? You could go into CVS and Walgreens, everybody had them. But it was just one of those things that to do to somebody while they're waiting. Mm-hmm. And it was the weirdest thing, if you remember. If you did it to yourself, it didn't feel so good.
Somebody else.
It just gave you goosebumps. So
that's like
anyway,
everything with your hair.
We have one.
Yeah. Oh, it's just good.
I do too.
So I think with Upneek, it's just finding the people in your set that have some time to make sure you're demoing,
right?
Because I think it's going to work well.
And to your point, with us, our appointments are pretty tight, mm-hmm. And when I have talked to some of the nurses that have 20-minute appointments, their struggle is: am I talking to them about the halo that I want them to do, or am I talking to them, trying to get that into the 20 minutes? So it's a balancing act. So I do think that the front desk, that would be, my point is maybe somebody with longer appointments or a little bit better about throwing it out there and kind of working up to the sale where the nurses struggle a little bit.
Well, and we've been talking a lot as we prepare to move into a bigger space early next year about having a full-time product specialist who all they do, and kind of having a store within a store in the waiting area where people are ushered in and there's somebody that their only job is to take care of our retail product sales. So we're really working on that now. We'll keep you posted as we formulate that plan. Speaking of retail product, we kind of have a rule here now that if we're going to add any new product, we're going to get rid of something that we have, because I think we got to a point a few years ago we had too much, right? Mm-hmm. And too much overlap. And I go into a lot of clinics, and you guys, to be honest, I think you can just get too many lines. I was one recently, and I bet you they carried 15 different lines and 15 products per line. They were everywhere, and it was just confusing, I think, to the staff. I think it was confusing to the consumer. And so we have a very nice offering, but we don't want to get too big. And so we're reviewing it all the time. If we have something that's only selling 1 or 2 a month, it probably shouldn't be there. But we launched Revision. We brought in some products. It actually was an old employee of ours who became the rep, who we love her. But they have some really nice products.
And we're always searching for good body products that we feel like aren't overpriced and you see results. So many of them, because it's a line designed for a med spa, the price is pretty high. Mm-hmm. And I think we've tested more body products in the time I've been here than any other category.
And none have really taken off, have they?
No.
But this one, I think. So we have the Body Firm, the Nectifirm, which is for the neck, the lip replenisher, and then a firming night treatment. Yep. And I tell you, I know and talking to some of the girls, that Nectifirm is selling really well for the neck. Yeah. And I know some of our body specialists, like Jessica, really like the body products too.
Well, to do $8,000, almost $9,000 with Liberty combined.
Or she said we're already at platinum status.
Yeah, it is just
with those few products. That's what's so funny. You don't even, if you believe in it and it works great and everyone is suggesting it, you don't have to have the whole line, and don't let them talk you into that, because
that's true.
They'll try it. Obviously,
it's their job.
But you vet the products and get what you're going to sell, and they'll be just fine with that.
And making sure that you are reviewing your performance of each product on at least a semi-annual basis, because if you look at a 6-month span and you've got product A and you've sold 3 in 6 months, why is it sitting on your shelf? It's tying up money in inventory. It's not moving. And then, when we make that decision, a lot of times one esthetician will come and say, yeah, but I have this one client who really likes that product. I said, well, we can't carry a product for one client. So,
and kind of what we do with our product liaison, she reviews things, and even if as the owner or the manager, you don't have time to really sit and analyze that as much as you would like to, give it the time that you want. If you can have someone do that for you and bring it back to management, what we've started doing is having vendors come in. They want to provide lunch. We tell them, sure. They sit back there for about an hour and a half. And as the providers go back to do their charting, they can ask them questions. Or if you have a product or two that used to perform really well and you don't know why it's kind of lagging, kind of just revisiting with the rep why that was so good and all of its benefits, it kind of resurrects it. So those are just really easy ways that don't cost anything to kind of give it a true evaluation of whether is it just run its course here, or did we just kind of forget about how awesome it was?
And from a marketing perspective, with revision, I asked Courtney if she would help us with posters, because we have a lot of areas with like snappable 24x36 posters. And so I was able to order a bunch of posters for both locations about these products, and then she paid for them. So yeah,
and I think it's just a good thing to remember about your reps, especially the reps of a consumable product like a retail product or Allergan or McKesson. You're the client. Work them. Make them spend time to make you better. I think that's very important. So something we're excited about, we just kind of got to the point where we thought cool sculpting pricing was too complex. And we wanted to simplify it, and then Allergan kind of took away the requirements for advertising discounts. We have competitors here in Kansas City advertising 50% off cool sculpting. So, which I wish they wouldn't have done. I don't like that. But
I don't like that either.
What we decided to do, instead of having all of these different tiers, is going very simple. If you do any 1 through 6 cycles, it's $6.99. 7 and above is $5.99. Make it super simple.
Yep.
And believe me, we have people in Kansas City doing cycles for $400. And I think of it the same way I think about Botox. We have people in Kansas City selling Botox for $9 a unit. Okay, we're $14 a unit, and we're by far the #1 provider of Botox. We are not the cheapest for cool sculpting by far, but guess what? We're the best, right? Better trained. We have the Z-Wave instead of doing the manual massage or follow-up. People are willing to pay for excellence. And then making sure your front desk staff, when they're talking to people on the phone, don't just give out a price, right? I think you should always give a price, or maybe just a price range, okay? Because I think you should put yourself in the shoe of the consumer. And if you refuse to give a price, and I'm a consumer, that's a red flag to me, right? But before we tell somebody, hey, what's your price for cool sculpting? It's not, oh, here it is. It's, well, let me tell you about how we do cool sculpting. We're #1 in Kansas City, #1 in the Midwest. We have all the elite systems. All our providers have been to Cool Sculpting University and to Bodify's training program down in Scottsdale, which is the #1 provider of cool sculpting in the country. We are going to take amazing care of you. We're very thorough with the before and after pictures, and then give a price.
Yep.
All right? And you want to make sure that you're telling them something that's going to make them want to come in for that consultation. Wow. And I think what happened before is we were giving a price range that was very high because most people do multiple units, cycles, and I just think we were missing out on some consults.
Yeah, little sticker shock.
Yeah. And next month when we review June, we'll talk about, we have an event, a cool sculpting virtual event in June, and we'll keep that.
People excited and
get the summertime. That's right.
Totally.
We did kind of an interesting fundraiser. You know, the longer we've been in business, the more we realize that if we get active in helping our community through charitable work and help working with charities, it's a good thing to do, and two, it's good for our business. So Karen and Lori set up a great event with these 2 locations in town. They're called Chicken and Pickle. They're huge places with pickleball and all these activities and restaurants and bars. And we did an educational event at both locations.
We did.
People got to play pickleball, and we raised money for Ukraine refugees.
We did.
And why don't you talk about just how do you set those things up? How does it, for those people who don't do a lot of community involvement, what is kind of the process of, hey, I've got an idea, let's get somebody to team up
Well,
with us?
it's kind of a evolving thing. It depends, first of all, if you have a relationship with the business or not, or if you're starting from ground zero. We're lucky in the sense that we've done a event group here from AesthetiCare at Chicken and Pickle, and Lori knows them well, so it worked fairly effortlessly. But when we were first deciding, okay, we know we want to raise money for Ukraine, we know we want to do an event, what's a good place to do it? It'd be great if it utilized both our north location and here. We talked to some of our radio relationships, asked if they were already currently doing any donations. So we kind of like start within our little bubble of people that we know and other advertising that we do, and kind of getting our feelers out there, see what other people are doing. Is it makes sense to latch on, do a joint event, which is kind of how we linked up with Chicken and Pickle. They were already raising money for Ukraine for the Voices of Children, and we're like, oh my gosh, perfect, done and done. But that's kind of like how we kind of start our, if you're doing it from ground zero, start within, the people that are very active in your community and other marketing efforts that you're already doing. Radio stations are great and influencers are great. That's kind of how we start. And then once we dive in, we just have conversations and kind of whittle down, what's the ticket sale going to be? What percentage can go to the charity? Who's doing what? We'll bring this. We'll pay for X. And then just kind of fine tuning the details and then working on people to get there. So.
Yeah, and the more of these things you do, even small ones, everyone makes a difference. Every contact you make, because keep in mind, when we say all the time, an average client, not a great client, spends $3,000 to $3,500 a year at AesthetiCare. You do an event like this and get 2 new clients, it more than pays for it.
Oh,
right?
100%.
And then it just builds, and people see that you have a business that's active in the community, active in charitable work. And I think it's just a long-term vision we have that we're going to be the most visible clinic in Kansas City as far as what we do.
And we have around 50 people at the Overland Park location.
Show up, and we had about 25 at the north deal. But the nice thing, and I was up at the north one, almost all of them were new. We only had a couple that were existing.
Which is amazing.
Hey listeners, it's Karen, the marketing director of AesthetiCare Med Spa here, and I wanted to share an incredible resource that has changed the marketing game for our virtual events here at AesthetiCare. Our events partner will provide all of the items that you need to put on a professional, organized virtual event with ease. You provide the assets, pictures of your staff, or whatever treatment that you're trying to promote only takes 90 minutes or so, and they do everything else. Following the event, they'll even provide you with detailed data analytics so you can see exactly how many people attended, who stayed for the entire event, track who's interested in getting your treatment or special that you're promoting. You will even have automated follow-up texts. I'm telling you, it will make your virtual events easy, breezy, and they do all of the marketing. It's incredible. For more information or to see a case study or two from AesthetiCare Med Spa, check out the link in the notes below.
And I think for somebody who, to your point, doesn't even know where to begin.
Right.
The 2 things that you have to ask yourself, I think, is people that you just go to out in your life. Do they have excellent customer service? And is their audience someone who would also be your audience? So if they have really high standards and people, they may not be the least expensive, but like you said, Matt, if you're the best, people are willing to pay a little bit more to have a great experience.
Nordstrom is a great example of that.
My whole thing in life right now is there's so many people who give poor service.
Yes.
I'm willing to pay more just so I don't have the angst of dealing with bad service or it not being done correctly.
Right.
Because that's just, it's such a drain on you, and it's a time suck, and it makes a wonderful thing that you were excited about just kind of yucky.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what you have to look at to know who to go to, and just say, hey, I own a business, or I manage this business, and I think we could collaborate and do something great together.
And think, every business wants to grow.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier to work to small to mid-sized businesses. The big ones are tough because they have all this red tape to go through. But Yeah,
but
I
also
agree with
talk
Rick.
to your staff.
Mhm.
You'd probably be surprised how many of your great clients already have a local business that you could team up with.
Exactly. Yeah, we've got a couple of fun ones coming up in June that we'll talk about that we're really excited about, so that'll be good. It was National Nurses Day, obviously, so you posted a lot about how much we love our nurses and how important nurses are to our community.
I did, and Blake actually was one of the people that designed the Casey Hearts, the Parade of Hearts.
That's
Did
great.
you know that?
No.
He did too,
Yep.
but he did one that was focused around nurses, and so I was like, oh, perfect, I'll do it for National Nurses Day. Yeah.
And then we've got, if you live in a decent-sized city, you probably have some magazine or two that always have these annual contests, best of Kansas City, best of St. Louis, best of New York, and you go and you vote, okay, who's the best Italian restaurant, where's the best barbershop, where's the best med spa, who's the best injector.
Yeah.
Last year, one of our injectors won best injector, we won best med spa. It really is kind of a popularity contest of the readers, but still it's kind of fun to promote.
Totally.
So Karen literally is sending out an email every single day to every single employee, because you can vote once a day.
Yeah.
Just to remind them.
Yep, through the beginning of June, so hopefully.
Yeah, and so it's fun to win those things, and I don't know if it makes or break you, but it's fun. So we didn't do for Mother's Day. We normally do something big. We really didn't, but we did okay on gift card sales.
Yeah, we still did almost 9,000 online alone in gift card sales. I was interested to see because I heard some clients asking if we were going to do that again this year because last year we did a big Mother's Day gift card thing and it went well, but people still bought it.
And we had just done something like that for Valentine's Day, which went really well.
But that's good. You got to keep them guessing.
That's right. Yeah, that's
keep on
right.
their toes.
We always want to let you know of equipment that we're vetting. Over the last month, we've been vetting a device called AgeJet. So if you've been in this industry for a while, you probably remember a plasma device by Rytech. That the results were good, but the machine was not very good, and it just was archaic back then. It needed some fine tuning. And then another one came out that was a little better, but still not great. But AgeJet is from Italy. It is a plasma energy device that literally you can treat upper lids with no internal eye shields. We're really excited about for the eyes. We've treated a lot of, Rick's had one, I've had one. You have not had one yet.
I have not had one.
But we demoed it on a lot of staff, some friends. I think Chris had one, didn't he?
Yep.
And we've decided to buy it. This is a unique device that we think we can really design some eye programs, especially right under the eyes and eyelids. And I talked to a few of the doctors who had it first. There's only 8 of them out in the country. We're one of them, but looked at their before and afters, listened to their feedback, and we're excited. We think it's going to be something great for the eyes, as well as kind of a unique approach to overall skin rejuvenation you can do on the neck. So it's called AgeJet. I would keep your eyes open, for it. I think you'll be hearing a lot about it, but we're very excited about that. Something else we do is kind of just a thank you to people who we feel don't get paid enough. And we always kind of let people get reminded, is we have a standing 10% discount for any primary grade teachers and first responders, policemen, firemen, EMTs, things like that.
Yep.
And it's something we just try to remind. So if you're a teacher, if you're a cop, if you're active military, anything you get here, treatment and retail product is 10% off. Again, just trying to do something nice for the community.
It's a nice feel good and an easy social post and makes people happy.
One thing I want to remind you of, now that we're coming into summer, and we just really reminded our staff, and we'll continue to do so during the summer, I think there's a lot of thought in providers' mind, it's summer, I'm just going to stop talking about lasers. Or if I talk about later, hey, we'll just do it in October or whatever. But the one thing I would tell you is, when I opened AesthetiCare 20 years ago, we really saw dramatic slowdowns in the summer. But when you say every summer we're seeing less of a slowdown?
It doesn't slow down.
Yeah, I mean, some things obviously do slow down, but business does not slow down.
The business does not slow down.
No.
But there are enough people out there that take care of their face with sunblock. They wear hats. My wife is a great example. She's a vampire. I mean, she has sunblock hats. She just protects like crazy. She can have BBLs during the summer. She could have a halo during the summer. There's a lot of people like that. So don't automatically think, okay, it's summer, let's just put off lasers. Still talk about it. Now, you may have somebody, oh God, I'd love to do that, but I go to the lake every weekend. Well, that's a person that they probably should wait till the fall. But the people who are protecting their skin, they're wearing hats, they're staying indoors, those people can have lasers all year long. They can have their IPL, their BBL, they can have their fractional lasers. So don't just have your staff immediately think, oh, it's summer, we got to quit talking about that stuff. So I don't think it's the time to like do a promotion for it or whatever.
Right.
But I do think, I think really in the summer, would you agree, the things that we've done best with them focusing are injectables, cool sculpting.
And body.
Yeah, body stuff.
I think so. Because it's body stuff's top of mind because all of a sudden you're trying on your shorts and your swimsuit and you're like, ah. So I think that kind of stuff's top of mind. Mirror dry's top of mind, and injectables is smart.
Yep. And what we'll do next month at the 411 is we'll talk about some of our summer programs for body that we're having to really bring a lot of focus to the body of what we can do non-surgically. So anyway, May's a great month number-wise. Not a ton of promotion stuff, but really fun. And we've got a lot of good stuff for the summer that will keep you up to date in June. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. We would love it if you left a review to help other providers and clinics find us. Also, if you want more information about anything we discussed in this episode, check out our show notes. Until next time, this has been the Making a Multi-Million-Dollar Med Spa podcast.